strips are pliers, and pliers for a wrench for a hammer, hammers everything else. It just don't seem to make much difference. I sure do like him, but
earlier today. Well, so I have a customer that's planning to go to China. Like we have a whole group of guys that are going to go to China. And so I'm going to have to fly to China. And I'm like, you know, we don't really go for first class at our establishment, right? So if you've ever flown to China, it's a 13-hour flight. And I'm a big feller, right? I'm not a little guy. And so it's 13 hours of pretty much torture sitting in the back of the plane in the economy class. Well,
by the shitter.
My customer said, that one of my not the head guy, the lead guy is probably going to be sitting in first class, right? And so the other guy is probably going to be in business class. And so the guy that's in business class told me I should tell my company that I need to sit next to the prime guy, right? I need to have a seat right next to him at first class the whole way, just so we can visit for 13 hours on the way to China.
Just talk.
And I was like, well, that sounds great, except by the time we get there, there's no way he's going to buy anything from me after I've been snoring like a bear for 13 hours in the seat next to him.
He's gonna hate you.
Oh, he's gonna hate me. So because I snore. When I snore, dude, it is no joke. I'm a CPAP guy. And we got stranded in Denver, over Christmas, and I fell asleep in the terminal, and my wife and daughter were making me sleep like away from them. And so I was like halfway across the terminal, and they said they could still hear me. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to ride next to him because that'll hamper business. So I'm going to end up stuck back in the cargo seats.
You'll be back there with the what's that movie? Did you ever see Soul Plane? And they have like the low class in the back, and it has like your overhead storage is like lockers. Like if you have you have to put a quarter in to get it out.
The area I'm gonna be sitting in, you're not even allowed to have storage. Like it's a no carry on type situation.
I didn't know you could take Spirit Airlines to China.
Yeah, I think all the airlines that fly to China are Spirit. Have you experimented with the new AI stuff that's out there, Chat GPT and all that whatnot?
I haven't. Have you played around with it yet? I haven't seen it. I've heard good things, some interesting things.
It was a lie. It's terrible.
Is it really?
Yeah, I tried to get some help with some coding stuff. It's never right. It's always wrong every time. I've tried to get help from it, like, I don't know, 15, 20 times, and it's been right twice.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wrong. And then so there's the new one, Bard from Google. It's supposed to be a creative writing. That's what it's supposed to be able to do, creative writing. Right. And all it does is write children's books. Like,
really?
Yeah. It's like I said, tell me I asked it, I said, tell me a funny story. And it told me a story that was not funny. And it was it was terrible. It wasn't funny at all. So I figured I didn't give it enough constraints, right? So I said, tell me a funny story about a monkey eating a pickle.
Yeah.
And so it wrote this 300-word story about a monkey eating a pickle. It ate all the pickles and it started throwing up, and all the other monkeys came and laughed at it. And I was like, that was not funny. Try again. And so it's like, I'm sorry that you didn't think my story was funny.
They're like, Alexa, write me a story.
So the next story it says that there was this monkey that was eating a pickle, and another monkey came and stole the pickle. And so then he went and started throwing pickles at the monkey that stole his pickle until the other monkey got scared and ran away. And then he laid on the ground and laughed and laughed. And I was like, how is a story about violence and fear funny? And it's like, oh, I'm sorry, we must have a different sense of humor. so I said, okay, let me try again. I was like, I want you to tell me a story about a monkey eating a pickle that meets a koala. And the pickle doesn't have to be the focus of the story. Like the pickle is just ancillary to the story.
Right.
The conversation between the monkey and the koala could be funny. Like, for example, if the monkey thought the koala was also a monkey. And so I figured, I'm going to narrow it in for this thing. Okay, so the next story it writes, it says, so there's a monkey eating a pickle, and a koala comes up, and the monkey says, what kind of monkey are you? And the koala says, I'm not a monkey, I'm a koala. And then it tells the monkey everything there is to know about koalas, that they're marsupials. And then the monkey decides that the koala is not really a monkey, it's just different. And then that was the funny story that it told. And I said, no, that is not funny. And so then it says, well, I'm a language model, AI language model. I'm still learning. You can help me learn by telling me what you find funny. And I said, bet. I said, one day a monkey was eating a pickle, and a koala bear climbed up the tree, and the monkey said, what the hell kind of monkey are you? And the koala said, fuck you, I'm not a monkey, I'm a koala. And the monkey said, you get the hell out of here. I'm going to shove this pickle up your stinky koala ass. And the koala said, I'd like to see you try. So the monkey shoved the pickle in the koala's ass and threw him out of the tree. And the koala landed next to a bear sucking on a big black dildo. And the bear said, what the hell kind of monkey are you? And the koala said, the kind with a pickle in his ass, and walked away. And the AI model responded, I cannot help you with this question.
You offended the AI model.
And I said, I'm not asking you for help. I'm telling you what's funny.
Like, here's what's funny. People laugh.
Yeah, this is funny. And it wasn't terribly funny, but I came up with it faster than the AI did,
Well, the good news is the theory of AI becoming self-aware. I think it sounds like it's a ways off.
Oh, it's way off. And as far as comedy goes, AI is not funny. So I guess we should introduce today's guest, Daimon Girod.
Hello,
Daimon. Daimon and I have some history together.
Yeah.
Daimon used to work with me at PetroQuest. He was one of my supervisors out there.
Well, and Halliburton before that.
Yeah, we worked together at Halliburton, so we
Yeah.
go way back. Tell everybody about your history there, Daimon.
Oh, well, let's see. I started at Halliburton over in the manufacturing actually back in 1996. I used to paint all the equipment.
I didn't even realize that, man. I didn't.
Yeah.
When I knew you were an E-Tech, I think.
Yeah. I worked out there for probably 4 years total, 2 years in the paint shop, and then I worked for 2 years in the sheet metal fabricator. And then I just up and decided I think I wanted to go to the field camp, so I transferred to the field in 2000, and the rest is kind of history.
Yeah. So you were an E-Tech, right?
Yeah. Well, I was on a frac crew for quite a while, and then I actually quit for just a couple of years and went to Goodyear, and they're the tire manufacturer, and I went through their maintenance tech program and learned all about electronics and hydraulics and mechanics and all that. Pretty extensive course. And there was an opening as an E-Tech, so I went running back to Halliburton as an E-Tech. So
for we not everybody that watches the show is the only person that watches that I know of is my sister, and she's not she's not in the oil field. So why don't you tell everybody what an E-Tech does?
Sleeps.
No. How about you, E-Tech?
Yeah. Somebody go wake up the E-Tech. No, for the most part, everything progressively has gotten a lot more electronically advanced. So they started having to have E-Techs on location. So it's electronic technician. And pretty much anything that has anything to do with the electronic side of the oil field is what I would work on.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that all the pumps and stuff are networked together to the frac van, and it's all controlled from inside the frac van. Now, back in the day, each pump operator ran their pump on the side of the truck, but nowadays it's all ran from the frac van. And I'm assuming that you spend a lot of your time replacing Cat 5 cables.
Oh gosh, yes. Cat 5 cables, pressure cables, flow cables, just pretty much any cable that got broke, I was getting called to duty.
So now you're doing a well site supervision, yeah?
Yeah, I am. I've been a consultant since on the completion side since January of 2011.
Nice.
Nice.
So it's I started up in Pennsylvania with do you name companies on here?
We do sometimes. I
Yeah.
mean, if
Okay.
you don't want to, you don't have to. It's up to
Oh,
you.
I will. I started with Chesapeake up in North Pennsylvania. They gave me
Uh-huh.
my first opportunity, and I've been with several since,
Mm.
several different companies since. But I mean, it's been good to me.
Which was the best one?
Plead the fifth.
Who was the best boss?
Oh, you were awesome, Lloyd.
Yeah, there we go. That's what
You
I'm looking
were,
for.
you were. You know, I've worked for some big companies. I've worked for small companies. I currently, right now, I'm with Pioneer, and they are a huge company.
Yeah.
But I liked the security of the big company, but I like the small business side of the smaller companies.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah.
just feels more mom and pop and not quite so corporate. But hey, I guess it's all kind of going corporate now. So
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Big time.
yeah,
So you're up in the Northeast. What formation you guys working on up there?
Marcellus and Utica, mostly Marcellus when I was with Chesapeake. I went to a smaller operator over in Ohio, and we did primarily Utica
Utica. Mm-hmm.
there. Yeah,
What kind of
yeah.
rates and pressures are you looking at? This is technical. Jeremy's getting bored, but
But
Oh
it's
yeah.
technical. Hey, we got a fraction engineer on the line watching us, so she could chime in and help
Oh,
us.
cool. Yeah, yeah. The Uticas were a little bit higher pressure than the Marcellus. They were, of course, we treated it 100 barrels a minute, typically around 8,500, 9,000.
Mm.
okay.
Getting them broke down was a little bit more. It was a little higher than that sometimes, but it wasn't too bad.
Are they strict on the emissions and stuff up there in Pennsylvania?
They
area?
are now. Yeah, Pennsylvania, their spills, emissions, just everything. They kind of go over the top with a lot of their environmental stuff up there, which I mean, if it's a beautiful environment up there, so I can see why.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's there's some operators in Texas that would not be able to operate uh by their standard operating practice if they
Right.
went up there right now. They would really have to do some serious modifications to the way they do business.
So whenever we have guests, one of the questions we like to ask is about pranks. I'm sure you know some good pranks, right? You've been took part
Oh
in some
yeah,
pranks.
yeah. As a frack hand or as a consultant?
It don't matter, man.
Doesn't
Whatever you
matter,
think
just
is the
oil field in
best.
general. Yeah.
Oh,
Whichever was your
gosh.
favorite.
Man, we were pretty ornery. I mean, especially at Halliburton.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't. I was always a mouth on the radio,
Right.
so I would get on there and talk people. Oh, I could get people pretty wound up on the radio, especially if they didn't know who it was talking to them.
Yeah.
And get truckers pretty wound up driving down the road too.
Oh yeah,
As
man.
we're driving from location to location, and
Every time you see a rock
Uh,
hauler, that's always a fun time.
oh yeah, yeah. And then, I mean, we had a lot of fun with snakes, and I mean, scaring the hell out of
John
supervisor
Thorne.
whenever I was he called me one day and cussed me out, and I didn't even do this one. So we're on location one day. We're on a stage job over in Wilburton, and back then, on a stage job, you just stayed out there, and you
Yeah.
might get one stage pumped a day. So we were on this 6 stage job, and we were having some issues, and we were having some equipment issues, some well issues. So we were just stuck out there. Well, it come time for him to go on days off. And he was bragging about how much sleep he's going to get driving back home, and somebody else is going to drive his pickup, and this, that, and the other. And and one of the other guys that was out there, he found one of these stick bugs, biggest stick bug I've ever seen in my life. This thing was about the size of, I mean, it was as long as your forearm, just about. And he stuck it in the back seat. Well,
Oh, shit.
that group went on days off. Thorne crawls in the back seat. He lays down, and off they go. And I didn't put this in there, but I know who did, and I'm not going to rat him out.
Show me name.
But about an hour down the road, I get a phone call, and it's John. You son of a bitch! And I'm like, whoa, whoa! Now I know what's coming. I'm getting the blame for this. And I'm like, what? What's up, man? And he goes, "Don't what's up, man? Me, you son of a bitch! I know what the fuck you did." Blah blah blah. And I'm like, listen, I know what just happened, and it wasn't me. Evidently, he fell asleep. He was on his back. He woke up, and it was right on his chest, staring him in the face when he woke up.
That's awesome.
And he told me he was trying to get out of the truck running 70 miles an hour down the highway. He couldn't get the back doors open. He was about to start breaking windows.
Oh my god,
Oh,
that dude was
And I
so
was
scared
like-
of snakes, man.
Well, and I scared him one day over there in Wilburton with a snake. Well, I was running the blender, and somebody came on the radio and goes, "Hey, Damon, look up here." We weren't even pumping the job yet. And I looked back off the back of the blender, and there's a water moccasin back there,
Shit.
and it was curled up. So I grabbed a strap stick, and I jumped off the blender, and I went and pinned its head down, and I grabbed that snake, and I held it behind my back. Back then, we had these little bitty frac vans. We called it the short bus.
Yeah, the short bus.
Yeah. So you walk in the van. There's only one way in and one way out of the van. So you walk in, and the treaters set back in the corners in the far back end of the van.
Yeah, no
And then there was
exit.
this big, and then there was this big bank of computers right between, right in front of them, and then the customer and the engineers sat on the door side
Yeah.
of the frac van. So I got this snake behind my back, and I walked in. I said, "Hey, John, I got a problem." He goes, "What's your problem?" And I said, "I don't know what to do with this," and I stuck it right in his face. And he jumped up. He's like, "I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you." And I said, "Okay, hit me." And I just kept going at him with that snake. And one of our other supervisors in there, Ryan Skelly,
Yeah.
and he's in there. He's got this he's from Detroit, so he's got the accent and everything. And he's in there, "Guy, you're gonna get fucking bit. You need to get that. You dumb motherfucker. Get that thing the fuck out of here." And John, he's still backing up. He's got his hands up like he's fixing to hit me. And I'm like, "Well, go ahead, just hit me, get it over with." Well, he jumps over that bank of computers into the engineer's lap and out the door.
Oh man, I've never met
And I don't-
anybody as scared of snakes as that guy was.
And I don't know how I never got wrote up for that, but I didn't.
He's probably worried you'd bring the snake back.
I probably would have happily signed that write up just for the look on John's face.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Sometimes you just got to take one for the team.
Yeah, that's right. Man, I
But we
remember.
used to do crap like that all the time.
Yeah, I remember one time somebody tied one to his door handle on the inside and then called his bag phone. And whenever he jerked the door open, the snake hit him in the chest. Because remember back then we had the bag phone, so your horn would honk when
Yeah.
your phone was ringing.
Yeah,
I know who
yeah.
did that also, but I'm not going to rat them out.
Yeah.
We'll wait till we get him on the
Oh
phone.
yeah.
I don't even know
So
if
there
I
was
can
a-
track
there was
that guy
another-
down anymore. Go ahead.
There was another guy whenever I was at E-Tech, and me and one of my the other E-Techs there, we let's say we had a lot of fun on location when there wasn't fixing. We weren't like running equipment or teaching somebody how to run equipment or whatever. That's all we did was mess with people.
Yeah.
One of the supervisors, you know him, Sean Brown.
Yeah, I know Sean very well.
Sean, super good guy. Love Sean. He is very OCD. Sean, everything in his life has a place. It has a position. It has, a purpose.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I got the keys to his pickup during one of these really long stages down. We were probably over in Texas, down in Texas or Eastern Oklahoma. I can't remember exactly where, but it was a long pump time. And me and my counterpart, we got hold of a label maker, and we labeled everything in his truck. Everything from his floor mats to his pencils to his pins to his speedometer, gear shifter, accelerator, brake, you name it. If it was in that truck, it had a label. We went through his toolbox and we labeled all of his tools. Everything. And it was so his nickname back in the day was Bull God.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember how he got it, but something to do with a Kid Rock song.
Mm.
But so we labeled everything Bull God's pencil. Bull God's pencil number 2, Bull God's accelerator. But he went and got in his truck and he knew exactly who to call. So he called me up and he goes, "You son of a bitch." And I was just laughing. Come to find out, like 2 months later, he was still finding labels.
He goes, I'm surprised.
I think I just when I think I've gotten all this crap out, he said, I look under my seats and everything under there's labels. I'm like, yep.
I'm surprised he even removed the labels. I mean, I would think that would be perfect for
He's
sure.
like, we're
You
helping
would
you
think
out.
so. Yeah. But we would always get, if we could ever get in his truck, we would like turn stuff around backwards, and because all of his pins up on his visors and everything were all perfectly lined up in a row, and we'd take some and flip them upside down and turn them around backwards. And I mean, he'd get in and he'd spend 30 minutes just rearranging shit in his truck before he'd ever leave location because it was driving him crazy.
Oh, that's funny, man. That's a
So
good
we
one.
oh yeah, or stick something underneath the seat that would rattle. And as he's driving down the road, I mean, he would stop on the highway and get out and yank everything out of the cab just to find a rattle. It was so funny.
Oh shit.
Oh man, that's good times. That's good stuff, man.
Yeah, we had a good time. But back then you could have a good time back then and not get in trouble. Everybody kind of took it in stride. Now you got to be careful of feelings and
make sure you don't offend anybody. Harassment
and all this crap now.
So that's something Jeremy likes to ask. So in your career in the oil field, what kind of changes have you seen for the good or for the worse?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
For the good, I would say a lot more safety measures, because you kind of look back now on some of the stuff that we did. It was just standard practice. And you're thinking, how did I ever live through that?
Yeah.
I mean, one little iron come apart or something like that, and you're standing on the back of a pump repacking it while you're fracking right there the other pumps, and you're thinking, man, one little thing could have happened. I mean, it would have wiped all of us out.
Right.
So definitely safety has really come into a big play. Now you can get a little over the top with it, and some companies do, but for the most part, most of the companies that I've worked for, they've been very sensible with their safety. I mean, they really push the stop work authority and stuff like that, which is really good.
Yeah.
Something else is, I mean, and I know it's just kind of the times we live in, but being sensitive to all the diversity out there, and really having to watch what you say to people and how you talk to people and stuff like that. Whenever I was in the field, they didn't give a rat's ass how they talked to us.
Right.
Yeah.
If you didn't like it, I mean, you quit. They didn't give a shit.
Right.
And now there's such thing as an HR department where I'm sure there was one back then too, but if you ever went to HR whenever I was at Halliburton, when you got back out into the field, you'd get your ass beat.
That's right. Let's have an HR meeting behind the frac tank.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's go behind the frac tank or on the other side of the cattle guard or something. So you just did not go to HR unless, I mean, somebody was dying.
Right.
But and I guess that's been probably the biggest culture shock to me, is just really having to watch how you talk to people out there, because I mean, anymore it's almost like a daycare than it is a job site.
Yeah.
In some cases. Yeah. I mean, and now with more women being out in the field, which for the record, I'm not against. Let's get that out there right now.
Hey, who is?
but it has really made me, I mean, I've stuck my foot in my mouth a time or two with women being on location, and in a safety meeting, I've said a couple of things, and I've said, I hope there's no women in here. And sure enough, one stuck her head out from behind a big group of people and waved at me. And I was like, oh God. So I approached her after the meeting and said, ma'am, I'm extremely sorry. I did not mean that literally. I did not mean to offend you. And she just laughed and said, no, you're good. I thought it was funny. I said, okay, good. So I was thinking, shit, I'm fired.
Yeah.
But no, it was, but just stuff like that. I mean, I don't mind. I don't, like I said, I don't mind the women being out there, especially if they can joke around and give it back to the guys. I mean, because the guys are still going to joke.
Yeah.
They're
Oh,
still
that's I
they're
mean, you
still
put yeah.
they're still guys. They're going to be ornery, and I mean, and the women that know how to take it and dish it back out. I mean, they thrive out there.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah.
They do, and the guys love it. I mean, they think it's so fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, you definitely have to kind of that's a slippery slope.
Mm-hmm.
What
Yeah.
are you see? Are they still having labor problems out there? You still see them every time. Everybody I talk to in mid-con,
Excuse
they
me.
can't hire enough people. Are you still running short?
Oh, well, yeah, in some cases. It depends on the departments, like water haulers, sand haulers, stuff like that. I mean, yeah, there was they were hard to come by for a while for experienced frac hands,
Yeah,
because especially after COVID, I mean, things ramped back up so fast. They just hired anybody that could wear coveralls and a hard hat.
yeah.
So everybody was struggling for some experience for a long time, but it's starting to catch up.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
No, the
Yeah,
crew's
it's,
pretty much. I mean, there's lots of young guys out there now.
oh,
I think we lost you for a second.
yeah, yeah. There's God. It's yeah. You did. Some of them are hiring as young as 18 years old. I mean,
Wow.
since there's not too many companies are requiring CDLs anymore because
Right.
most of them hire third party drivers.
Right.
They'll hire you at 18 years old. So yeah, it's a very young, very young. I mean, got kids out there younger than my kids,
Oh wow.
and
Well, how do you find? Are they good workers? Are they doing a good job?
for the most part, yeah. I mean, it's a culture shock for them too. I mean, because most of them, I mean, come from living with mom and dad to living in a man camp for couple of weeks at a time, and getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and most of them aren't used to that. And
Yeah.
I mean, so it's after they get used to it, yeah. But you can it still weeds a bunch of them out.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's pretty easy to find the one to spot the ones that are gonna do good and really make something of it. And I mean, they hit the ground running. I mean, they adapt real easy. The good thing about them being that young, boy, they learn quick. They're very open to they're like a sponge. They just absorb information. So I encourage them to approach. Please approach me if I try to be an approachable guy on location. So if they
Yeah.
have any questions, I'm like, hey, find somebody that you work with, and if you can't, feel free to come to me. I mean, I don't have all the answers, but I can answer most of your questions probably, and I know I can find an answer to just about any question you have.
Yeah.
So
That's a
no,
that's a that's a reoccurring theme that we see, and that's what Lloyd will preach it from time to time too. Is just you have the courage to ask the question, right?
yeah,
to
yeah.
help you out.
Yeah, in all the safety meetings, I mean, we always tell them, hey, yeah, don't get me wrong, there are some stupid questions, but you're not gonna be made to feel like the question you're asking is stupid. I mean, we were all in your shoes at one point or another. So
Yeah. I always
come
preach
ask.
that whenever somebody if somebody asks a question, you should appreciate the fact that they care enough to ask the question.
Absolutely, yeah. It means they give a crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
my theory.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you wholeheartedly.
What else, Jeremy? What did I forget about?
What's the? I mean, we always have a few questions, but so we talked about the pranks. What's the craziest thing you've seen out there? It could be good, bad, indifferent. It's we asked one guy and he's
Gosh.
like, well, what did that time that guy lost his hand? It's like, well, it could be anything, but what's the wildest thing you've seen?
Oh man, I mean, I've seen tubing come shoot up out of the ground, out of a well that we were running coil in. I've got a video on my phone of a blowout during a coil tubing job up in Ohio, and it spit a bunch of tubing out of the hole. The injector head and the crane fell over, snapped off,
Whoa.
and it spit a whole bunch of tubing out of the hole. And you can see the BHA fly up in the air, still attached to the tubing. It's on fire. It's smoking.
Oh wow,
that's coming down.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it's
that's
and it was
a real blowout right there.
yeah, and it was 100 yards from the Ohio River. So which
Wow.
was yeah. I can't remember which company it was. It wasn't the company we were working for, thank goodness, but it was only about a half mile up the road from where we were working up there. So
Wow.
yeah, I went and got a pretty cool video of it.
So when the BHA came out on fire, did it land on fire, or did it extinguish itself, or what?
No,
How bad?
honestly, I was so far back,
Oh, you
I
couldn't
couldn't.
see.
Yeah, and but you can see it. You can watch the tubing just coming out of the hole, and it looks like spaghetti just coming
Oh
out.
yeah,
It's crazy.
That's
And
crazy.
then all of a sudden, you just see this little ball of smoke just fly up in the air, and that's the BHA. And yeah, it was nuts.
it's always
But
cool to see
that's
that, but you don't want to be on that location.
no, God, no, I wouldn't want to have to answer for that.
That's
No.
you end up taking a long vacation over those kind of
Oh
deals.
yeah, and the Ohio, the DEP, the Department of Environmental Protection in Ohio, they were on top.
Not
of
impressed.
No, no,
Not impressed at all.
No, they didn't find it near as entertaining as we did.
I can imagine.
But that was probably the craziest, like, oh my God, this is really happening thing that I've seen out there.
Yeah.
I've been on locations where irons come apart during a frac job, stuff like that. I mean,
That's always exciting.
it's exciting for a couple of minutes, and then it's like, okay, it's all shut in and dead now. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, and yeah, that would probably have to be the craziest.
That's awesome.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
What advice would you give the young bucks coming on? If I'm starting out tomorrow, if my boy's starting out, then what would you tell them?
Don't do it.
Don't work for Lloyd.
Go back to school. No.
we
Hey,
hear that.
there's a shortage of pilots. Go be one. They pay really well. But no, I would just say, I mean, it is what you make of it. I mean, if you want it to be good to you, then be good to it.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll get out of it what you put into it. Leave your feelings on the other side of the cattle guard. That'll go a long ways.
Yeah.
Show up with a good attitude, eager to learn, be the first one with a hammer in your hand and the last one to put it down. That's really that will go farther as far as a new employee than probably anything that I've seen. Just be the one on location who is first to the work and last to sit down.
Yep.
And
That's good advice.
That'll take you a long ways.
That's
Excellent.
good advice. That's good advice for life in general.
It really is. Yeah. Sometimes I don't always do that, but man, I try.
You still
I'm
playing the guitar?
I'm getting man, not as much as I used to.
Okay.
The room I'm in is, I don't really have an office here at the house. This is my theater room. I turned my oldest son's bedroom into a theater room as soon as he moved out.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
So
we miss you.
I've
Miss you a lot.
well, I got my drums over there, and I've got guitars on the wall.
That's awesome, man.
Nice.
I got my computer sitting on a piano. So
nice.
so
Very
yeah,
cool. Very cool.
This my fun room.
Cool, man.
Nice. Was that I like that helmet over there, that night, that it's like a
Oh yeah. I bought this. It's got a bolt missing. I think my kid's been playing with it, but yeah, it's real. It's a metal. It's heavy.
nice.
Actually, bought that whenever I was the play. There was my church was doing a play,
Yeah.
an Easter play, and I thought, yeah, I'm gonna buy a Roman helmet. That's
You're one
awesome.
of the Romans.
Yeah. So I thought,
You're one of the
"Shit,
bad guys.
Yeah. I bought that. I bought a sword. I bought the chest plate and everything.
That's
I thought,
awesome.
man, this is a pretty good excuse to buy some cool shit.
That is awesome, man. That is
Yeah.
Nice.
that
Everybody
online?
else is in there with cardboard cutouts, and David shows up.
Yeah.
Decked
And I
out.
come walking in clinking, clink, 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 clink.
I bet the wife loves it, just shirtless and helmet all day long, just kind of.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
shoot.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm taking notes. That's very
Yeah.
cool.
All right,
Yeah.
man. Well, I don't. We got anything else, Jeremy? It's
I think this is awesome. We appreciate you coming out and taking the time and
Man, guys,
interacting
thanks
with
for having me. I saw the advertisement, and you were talking about having an expert on, and I'm like, you oversold that bad.
Well, we've been we're
So-
just getting our momentum, and so we appreciate it. We had we came out of the gates pretty strong, and then just life
Yeah.
happens, and but we're having fun with it. And you actually, that was my daughter you were interacting with, Ryan. I just brought her on because I'm like, I don't have time to schedule all this stuff, and so she was super
okay.
excited. So I told her, I
That's
said, you're
very
gonna be dealing with
cool.
some oil field types, so you can toughen your skin up a little bit.
Oh, nah.
Yeah, I tried to
But,
fire Jeremy and hire Ryan as the co-host, but it hasn't panned out yet.
Now we'll figure it out.
well, hey,
We'll let her-
everybody needs a sidekick.
That's right. That's right.
That's
So,
right. Yeah. So where are you guys located at doing the podcast here?
So we on the first few we did, and we try to do them together in Houston or in the Humble area. We've done them at Humble Backyard. We did them. What was the other place that we did?
what was it? West Side Crowbar or something like, or Wakefield Crowbar.
Yeah,
We're kind of in the
Crowbar,
Heights, and
yeah.
it was kind of nice.
That place was pretty cool. I think we did one there, but then one day we had a schedule, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna be able to make it to a live deal, and we didn't have a venue organized, so we did it virtually. And I really like not driving around Houston, and so we started doing them virtual.
Oh, okay.
But so we've been doing them. I've been at my apartment. Jeremy's been at his house, but today I'm actually home for a change. So I'm in my office upstairs at the house in Collinsville. I still live in Collinsville.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm down in Houston, and so it's kind of. But the idea was, to kind of meet in person and kind of get custom beers and stuff. And I think we'll get back to that, but
yeah,
we want to get that kind of cadence. And so having maybe once a month we'll get together and have some drinks, get everybody out and kind of because it's just kind of a.
Well, it's real hard to get our guests to come too, because most of our guests are, they work in the field like yourself, and so they're either working or they're on days off and want to be home. So it's hard to get the guest in person.
Well, and that's what
I know a guy that's got a plane, so
yeah,
I'm just saying. I mean, if y'all ever wanted to get together in person, I mean,
let's do it.
It's only a 2-hour flight for me.
Heck yeah, man.
That's perfect. We could do a Houston.
I actually bought my plane in Houston.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I bought it at Cleveland Airport there in Northeast Houston.
Okay. I know
cool.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm just learning about it, but man, it's on my list too. I did a little orientation flight, and like I said, he let me do everything except land it, and I was just like, I was hooked.
Oh, it doesn't. It's so addictive. It's the most expensive and the best drug that you could take.
Yeah,
but it's a lot of fun. I actually sent you a kind of a drawing of my plane.
Yeah, I saw that, man. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a good one. I mean, it gets me where I'm going pretty quick.
I've a lot of the guys that fly will talk about that Bonanza a lot. It usually shows up in the top 3 that people want to fly.
It does. It's the aircraft that's been in continuous production the longest.
Yeah,
so
really.
They did it right. Yeah, they did it right.
Well, and it's weird because it's like when I started looking that bell curve of what you can pay for like a small private plane rolls from like you can buy it for the cost of like a little Honda Civic all the way to $12.5 million. I mean, it's just like,
oh god, yeah,
and everywhere in between. It's crazy to like, I was Googling around. I was like, oh, I like this one. And that was like, ridiculous. There's no way I'd ever like,
yeah. You have to, you kind of have to, what they tell you to do is define your mission, which you might have already heard that.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what are you going to be using the plane for most?
Yeah.
And buy a plane that fits that.
Oh, that makes sense.
Don't buy it for the one and 5 year trip. Buy it for what you're going to be using it most for.
Yeah.
So yeah, mine was speed and being able to haul 4 people, some luggage,
cargo,
and be able to fly a good distance and fly relatively fast.
That's good.
Comfortably, because I'm not a real tall fella, but I'm kind of broad, so I need some shoulder room.
Yeah. I get that. So
have you ever put 4 people in the plane?
Oh yeah. I put 4 people and some luggage. Yeah, I've stopped in the Dallas area and picked up some friends, and we flew to San Antonio. It's been a couple of months ago, and I just land in San Antonio, spend a weekend, and jump back in the plane. And an hour and a half later, you're back home.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to get a different plane whenever you start your charter business, then, right? Because you said
Yeah,
fly
yeah,
6.
well, yeah. I've been looking at some Cherokee 6s and stuff like that. They're hold 6 people comfortably and some luggage, so things like that.
Sounds awesome, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I got big plans. I got to figure out how to make it work.
All right. Well, once you open up shop, you can sponsor the podcast, and we'll
Yeah,
we'll
shamelessly
promote
plug it. Yeah. So
heck yeah, that'd be
speaking
awesome.
of, we didn't plug our sponsors. I don't.
Oh yeah, we should plug
Are
our
they?
sponsors.
Wait, are they still qualified sponsors? Has their
I haven't received any
introductory-
dollars, but we could still promote them. We
introductory offers expired?
yeah, it's but we we love our friends at Night Fire Specialists. Matthew Hill and those guys. He's kind of our affiliate. He's a good guy, and we've got Calibri and US Oil Chem, who have been showing some support, and 5280 Construction, a buddy of mine in Denver who's a developer out there, and so we thank him. And
yeah, we thank you guys. We're gonna. I think your introductory offer has expired. We're gonna have to.
Yeah, you guys are actually making you're getting a lot in out of this one. We've there's at least a half a dozen people out there that know who your brand is, right?
Yeah, and there's at least 3, and we're sitting in this room right now. We just went through the list.
He got a real long reach in the derrick when he leans. He been all around the world on the big old rigs with the welders and the trucks on the black gold rush and the diesel burning cat motors growling in the mud. You better hire him on. He's the roughest neck around. He got the power in his hand to pull the dragons from the ground. Yeah.